Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I'm Farrukh Pitafi. Viewers, once again, we are going to talk about Pakistan's politics. The situation in the region, of course, keeps on changing, but because everything seems to be going on a single pace, so it is important to remember that we have to focus on Pakistan's politics as well. There are many aspects which are very interesting. On one side, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf government has successfully completed its 3 years in power. What exactly does it entail? The biggest question at this moment is, while it inherited many crises when it came to power, they have actually tried to steer away from those crises, and to a great extent we can see the success as well. But what exactly is the agenda for the next 2 years? Because there were promises, there are big promises, and the window of time keeps on shrinking. On the other side, we have to look at the opposition and how disorganized the opposition parties are. You will remember the days when we used to talk about PDM and as if it was a huge challenge. But later on we saw that 2 parties were removed from PDM. And at this moment, while we keep on hearing that there is some kind of thaw between the 2 parties, PMLN and People's Party, it doesn't seem to have impacted how PDM goes. So what exactly is in store for the opposition parties? What exactly does the federal government actually promise? These are the issues we are going to discuss today. Before I introduce today's panel, our team has prepared a report for you. Let us watch that first.
Immediately after coming to power, the PTI government faced major political and economic challenges. Under Prime Minister Imran Khan's leadership, the government managed to steer Pakistan away from troubles. Politically, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has gained many victories in the special and by-elections. PP 38 Sialkot, which has historically been a stronghold of PMLN, was won by PTI in the by-elections. PTI also formed governments in Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir after elections in those areas. This shows that the PTI government enjoys public support. The opposition parties are in turmoil, with the Pakistan Democratic Movement almost neutralized due to rifts within the alliance. Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz is apparently split in 2 groups, with the leadership giving conflicting narratives in public. Until now, the opposition parties have failed to put up a fight. The merger of former federally administered tribal areas with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is a positive step in bringing the whole country at par in terms of development. Building of communication network, healthcare facilities, educational institutions, and employment opportunities will provide former FATA residents with the same opportunities as the rest of the country. Economically, Pakistan has seen an almost V-shaped recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic threatened to paralyze the economy. The current economic recovery has been achieved without compromising internal and external stability. Textile, food beverages, construction, non-metallic mineral products, and automobile manufacturing sectors have witnessed broad-based growth, as major sectors of large-scale manufacturing have shown significant improvement. The first 9 months of fiscal year 2021 recorded the highest period-wise growth of 8.99% since fiscal year 2007. The current account posted a surplus of $0.8 billion during fiscal year 2021 for the first time in 17 years. Inflows of foreign exchange through the Roshan digital account crossed the $1 billion mark. During fiscal year 2021, workers' remittances posted the historically high growth of 29% and reached to $24.2 billion. State Bank of Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves rose to $16 billion, which is a 4-year high. Federal Board of Revenue Tax Collection has witnessed a significant growth of around 18% during fiscal year 2021. The revival of domestic economic activity and ongoing comprehensive tax policy and administrative reforms are the main contributing factors to this economic revival of Pakistan. Experts are hopeful about Pakistan's continued journey on the path of resurgence.
Right, you have seen the report. Now let me, without wasting any time, introduce the panel. I've got one guest in the studio, 2 on Skype. Ahmed Jawad Saab is Central Secretary Information, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the ruling party, joins us in the studio. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. And Rana Ehsan Afzal Khan Saab, a young leader of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, joins us on Skype. Ali Al Rashid, also another young man from Pakistan's People's Party, joins us on Skype as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being part of the program. Let me start with the studio and the guest, the guest in the studio. Ahmed Jawad Sahab, let me ask you about various aspects of your government's performance and what are the next milestones in coming days?
Farrukh, first of all, I think you pointed out two young men. I think you are the third one.
Okay.
So,
no, not
three
that
young men and...
Okay. Okay, we all are young. Let's move on.
Anyway, so talking about the performance of the government, you know, there has been a brief introduction, but let me just put it into my words that how do I see. I think the foremost and most important thing was that when PTI government took over 18 August 2018, we had $9 billion foreign reserves. And that means we were on the verge of bankruptcy because our import bill perhaps was not enough for that kind of foreign reserves. And then today, if we look at the foreign reserves, it is about $25 billion. And the major challenge to our economic situation was current account deficit, which was $19 billion plus, and now it is $1 billion. And then in last 2 years, despite the factor of COVID, we have been able to bring about some good improvement in the economy. You can see the stock exchange, you can see the volume of exports, you can see the construction activity, all pointing towards good economic indicators. And you can also really take pride in the fact that $22 billion was our almost annual overseas foreign remittances, which crossed $27 billion.
Right.
So it is a big jump, and that shows the trust of overseas Pakistani and also the strategy of this government, which was Roshan Digital Account, which has reached $2 billion.
Right.
And the second most important thing, I think the performance of the government is about the strategy against the COVID, which has been quite successful if we compare it with the regional countries. And it has been well appreciated by the international forums.
Right. Now, the way forward. What are the milestones you want to achieve in 2 years?
Yes.
Very quickly.
I will just add 2 more points, which are important because I think this is something which has never been done before. The one is about environment. At least I have not seen any ruler in Pakistan taking so much interest in the environment of Pakistan. 1 billion tree or 10 billion tree. I mean, are expanding forest, small forests everywhere in the country, and the kind of awareness which Imran Khan has created. I think that is something very big for this country, and we should remember it for a very long time. And we must not forget that we were one of the lowest in the list of countries with the lowest density of forest.
Right. And after mashallah, this very comprehensive answer, I hope you will allow me to go to the other guest, and then I'm going to come forward. Yeah, the young guys. Oh, you are going to keep on talking about that, are you not? Let me ask her, Rana Ehsan Afzal Khan Sahab. Rana Sahab, first of all, this impression that your party itself is not united, and the second aspect is how the narrative is being put out by the opposition parties, particularly yours. I remember we used to have talks. I used to ask and you used to promise that there will be white papers coming from your party. We don't see that kind of homework any longer. What exactly is going on with it?
No, I think even with the Punjab government, we released a white paper, and even for the federal government, before the budget, we had a very comprehensive discussion on economy, and a paper was released on their performance and where we were taking the country and what has happened to the country today. So, you know, if you would allow me to comment on the economy, there are the 3 major indicators which affect the population of Pakistan, of the common man. Number 1, inflation. When we were in government, it was under 5% average throughout the 5 years. Today, you talk about food inflation, rural food inflation, double digits, has been double digits since PTI has been in power. Talk about poverty, it has risen. Different economists have been commenting about how huge portions of the population have gone below the poverty line. Talk about unemployment. You take a survey in any university and you'll see the absorption of students in the job market is less than 20%. So unemployment is on the rise. You want to talk about tax collection. You said that there was an 18% increase after 13 years. We were doing a 20% increase per annum. My friend Jawad Saab said that the stock exchange is doing well. It's not. In our 5 years, we improved it by 57% and we left it at 43,000 points. After 3 years, it has only risen 10%. So that is abysmal performance. And the market capitalization
you said that you wanted to make a point, and that's why I didn't cut you. But with due respect, all this is a very good segue away from what I was asking you. Is your party united, sir?
Our party is united under the leadership of Mian Mohammad Nawaz Sharif and Shahbaz Sharif as the president of the party. And all these rumors of this division, he's the president of PMLN, Shahbaz Sharif.
Okay, Shahbaz Sharif, right. I thought that you're talking about Mian Nawaz Sharif, right. May I ask you about the legal status at this moment of Mian Nawaz Sharif Saab as well, sir? He is in UK, right?
I think Mian Nawaz Sharif is in UK and he is there. He's managing the party affairs from there, and I think it is better suited that he stays over there because if he comes back, he will be put behind bars under this fascist regime, which has been politically victimizing our party at full throttle. And I think it is better where he is.
Rana Saab, I'm going to come back to you, but bear in mind that Mian Nawaz Sharif was convicted by a court of law. You can talk about the political parties, but overall, it actually goes in the wrong direction. Let me bring in Ali Rashid Saab. Ali Rashid Saab, your party seems to be united, but it doesn't seem to be chugging on that kind of steam. Why is it that we don't hear or see that kind of paperwork, that kind of homework coming from your party, sir?
Thank you so much for having me here. I don't understand what else can we do. I think we are raising our voice in every forum. All the elections which we are contesting against the PTI, we are winning. We have been, I think a day doesn't go by when we don't criticize the performance of PTI. And speaking of the economic performance, I would like to add here, if you look at the stock exchange, my learned friend here was mentioning that it is doing much better. It's not actually. If you look at it from the time that PMLN left it at 43,000 points, and if you actually adjust it with the dollar rate, it is much, much less. They haven't even reached the point where it's actually negative. The growth is negative if you compare it to the time when PMLN was there. GDP growth is much less. 4 million people have lost their jobs. Unemployment is there. If you look at corruption, Transparency International has said that corruption has gone up. So where is this government performing? I don't understand. 3 years have gone by, and yet the PTI government pretends that they're in opposition. They keep blaming the previous regimes and the previous PMLN, People's Party, etc. But it's about time they should get a grip and start giving relief to the common man, or else elections are around the corner, and you'll see they'll be defeated.
That's a very good point. That's a very interesting and fascinating point. But usually when somebody actually gives these claims, I usually ask about the source of the numbers. And I understand on television it is very difficult to actually properly source that data. Usually what happens is that political parties come up with white papers, other documents. Have you produced in the past 3 years any substantive material that you can quote on air, sir?
Yes, actually we have. In fact, we did not need to prepare white paper. They're very autonomous and impartial international organizations which are working within and in Pakistan, international observers international NGOs who have actually given these facts and figures, and they're not aligned with any political party. They're totally impartial. They're not biased, and these are facts and figures which are actually coming from them. This is not people's parties giving you all these numbers.
Right.
But yes, when you hear numbers from the Statistics Department of the government of Pakistan, then that's questionable, because that's the government of Pakistan trying to fudge the numbers to mislead the people.
And government of Pakistan, at least the ruling party, has a representative. He is going to clear these points. But my question, one more, because I asked PMLN about its internal unity, let me ask about PDM. What is your party's status regarding PDM? Are you going to join in coming days, or it is going to be merely sitting from outside, criticizing from outside, or supporting from outside, sir?
Okay, look, I'll be very clear here. We would love to be part of the PDM. We want to make things work. Whatever the issues were, we want to resolve them. There is something very categorical which I want to point out here. When we just started off on a very bad foot, because at that time, Shahbaz Sharif Saab was in prison. Mariam Sahiba was leading the show. Obviously, you know, some senior leadership was missing. So obviously, I think things will be different now, and there are backdoor talks which are going on, and we are hopeful. But let me tell you this much: look at how we are actually defeating PTI at every forum, every by-election from Karachi to Punjab, which is happening. 99% of those by-elections, PTI has lost, and this is, mind you, while PDM is not together. Just imagine when the PDM comes together, what will happen? We will overthrow this fake, PTI.
This is an interesting take, because by we, I assume you're talking about PDM, a party, a group of which PTI, People's Party is no longer a member. But let me come back to the studio. Ahmed Jawad Saab, both the parties think that you are actually seeing hope where none exists, and that you are not performing well. And they talk about the stock exchange and employment figures. Please, sir, go ahead.
Farrukh, that is why I was explaining the performance of the government, which started with some very basic economic indicators. And I think this is how every economy in the world is measured, through those economic indicators. So those economic indicators are not made by myself or PTI. They are the economic indicators which are well acknowledged by the international financial institutions, whether it is the current account deficit, whether it is the foreign reserves or foreign remittance, our exports, or other economic activities. So it is all, internationally available from the institution of Pakistan. So they represent what is the economy under PTI government since 2018. So I don't have to, really repeat that. And regarding one question about the corruption, Farrukh, if you recall, that when we were in the opposition, we took up this Panama case in the court of law. We dig out everything about the Panama case, and we brought those facts and those evidence. We fought that case at every forum. And if today opposition blame PTI government for corruption, I would invite them, I would request them that if they have anything, they should bring it about. They go to court of laws with specific details. If PTI, while in opposition, can dig out a case like Panama and bring about all the flats and assets of Nawaz Sharif in England, in another part of the world, and prove things there, or present their case in the court of law, why not? Opposition should also do the same things.
Do you want to comment on stock market as well?
Stock market, yes. What we received in 2018. And from there, we are, since last, I would say, 1.5 years, we are at the highest in last 3 years. So I think that's enough, considering what will be the kind of stock exchange when your foreign reserves are not even enough for the import bill. And from there, And you should remember, it was during, I think, 2019, the stock exchange fell even before below 30,000.
Right.
And now if it is 42 or 43,000, so it means there is an improvement, there is a stability.
Right.
We had bad things, and especially in last 1.5 years, we had the additional challenge of COVID, which has shrunk the global economy by 15%.
Right.
But we have been able to not only come out successfully from the COVID, we have been able to sustain our economy. We have been able to do quite better compared to many other countries, compared to regional countries.
Right.
There was one big question about the GDP growth that has also been now indicated nearly 4%. And next year it has been predicted to be more than 5%.
Right.
So that is also on the growth side.
Right. Let me go back to Rana Ehsan Afzal Saab. Rana Saab, while we are talking about these indicators, and of course everyone is entitled to their views, a question about policy stance that you were earlier telling me. One very big question at this moment. Who is calling shots at this moment? Is it Shehbaz Sharif? Is it Maryam Nawaz? And Syed Abbasi Saab is the only one that seems to be talking a lot. Who does he represent? Which segment of the party does he represent? And when are you coming up with a comprehensive review of the economy on papers?
The comprehensive review of the economy, the 3-year audit of the federal government is going to start coming from next week. It is almost ready, but I will share with you the 2-year audit of the federal government. I'll share with you the 2-year audit and the 3-year audit of the Punjab government. So we have been releasing papers, and I've also, I think I remember sharing them with a few of them with you before as well. About who is calling the shots, we have consultations, and after consultations, the final decision is taken by Mia Nawaz Sharif. And after it is taken, it is followed by the party rank and file. So that is how our party works. Abbasi is the senior vice president. He works under Shehbaz Sharif, who is the president of the party. So there is absolutely no confusion. And if there is any, our party will make sure that it is cleared in the coming days. Now, I would like to talk about
hang on.
the sanctity
Before
of
you
numbers.
move forward, because you gave allowed some space, let me ask you, you said Mia Nawaz Sharif is, in the end calls the shots. So what does the party president do?
He's part of the consultation. He's part of
He's not the head of the
giving
party?
his point of view. No, he's the head of the party, but the status of let's say for life chairman is for Mia Nawaz Sharif. And
right.
It's not that he might have the veto power, but every decision is made through consensus and through consultation with all the senior party leaders.
Rana Sahab, I understand that your party is named after Mia Nawaz Sharif, and I'm not disputing that. But under which law are you saying that he is the lifelong chairman of the party? Under Pakistan's bylaws, an absconder, a person who is a convict, cannot hold party positions.
Under the law of heart, the people of Pakistan love Mia Nawaz Sharif. The people of Pakistan are thankful to Mia Nawaz Sharif for what he has delivered to Pakistan. All development projects bear his name. We were announced as a nuclear state because he took the bold decision of taking the blast, the nuclear blast. So I mean, it is just the law of the heart.
I understand your party's narrative, sir. My question is merely about the legality of the whole thing. The political parties have to function under the constitution and under the law, and under the law, it is prohibited.
No, he is not holding any official designation. He's the de facto, but still we consider him Qaid. So he does not need official name that he is the president or the chairman of the party. Every member in the party respects him as the Qaid of the party.
Right. Let me ask you another thing. Is your party amenable to the idea of People's Party rejoining PDM?
Of course, I mean, all opposition parties need to work together to bring down this incompetent government. And if there were some differences in the PDM, if they are resolved, I'm sure it will be better for the opposition to have a united front. So there's no doubt about it. And party has already given a statement regarding Punjab that if People's Party has a formula to take ahead for a no confidence motion, we are open for discussion, and we are open to the idea of pursuing that, because the Punjab government has also been a colossal failure to deliver to the people of Punjab.
Right. Let me go back to Ali Rashid Saab. Ali Rashid Saab, does your party plan to bring any no confidence motion in Punjab?
We actually do, and we are looking for the support of PMLN, and if they agree to do so, then very much so. I think this government needs to go. The sooner the better for the people of Pakistan, because I don't think the common man can tolerate another minute of the incompetence of this government, which has led to unemployment and food inflation and many crises. The name of PTI is synonymous with crisis. Name it: wheat crisis, sugar crisis, flour crisis, law and order crisis. I mean, I don't think there's any segment where this government is actually performing. Please show me one segment where this government has actually been able to perform. Nowhere. Their performance has been zero. In fact, not even zero. In fact, negative, minus.
Right. Ali Rashid Saab, can you tell us how many members do you have in Punjab Assembly, sir, your party?
Well, if we include ourselves, and we don't have many, the number game, and when you speak about People's Party may be weak, but if PMLN joins our hand, and PTI's lawmakers who are sick and tired of the policies and the incompetence and the delayed decisions. I mean, if you look at majority of the failures or majority of the issues which are happening in this government is because there's no decision-making power. These people delay things. First the wheat is, they export wheat, then they have to, on a higher price, import wheat. They have no idea what's going on. They've never run a government before. They have no experienced people. He made tall claim that in 100 days, I'm going to finish corruption. I've got 200 people. I've got the best team in the world. And when we come, we will change there'll be like honey and milk flowing from all over the, in Pakistan, but nothing like that happens.
Now you have pointed out that you don't have significant numbers in Punjab Assembly. And if you want to bring about change, you need cooperation of PMLN. You just pointed out earlier that your party is in contact with PMLN. There are backdoor, behind the scene contact with the opposition, particularly PMLN. Now, can you tell us who is actually contacting on whose behalf? Is it Asif Ali Zardari Saab's behalf or Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's behalf, sir?
I think that's immaterial, right? Because I think let it be Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Saab or Asif Ali Zardari Saab, it's the same thing, right? Let it be either or. I think it's any communication from the party. It's from the focal person, and from a focal point, it's univocal. And let me tell you this much also, not just PMLN, we are also in touch with a lot of PTI lawmakers who are not very happy with their party, and rightfully so. If I was part of PTI, I would not be happy with my party either.
So who is the focal person, sir?
Well, that's the secret. Because backdoor talks are backdoor talks. They cannot be.
But human beings don't actually. Human beings actually don't become invisible. Even behind the door, they have to, behind the scene, they have to actually have a name, right?
No, but while some sensitive talks are going on, which cannot be brought about in public as yet, since they've met a logical conclusion, sometimes some things have to be kept, undercover or, it cannot be said in national.
And I'm not going to ask you to actually divulge the sensitive
details
of those talks.
Not like
I'm merely asking. Right? Please go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah. No. I'm saying, of course, there are people. It's not that there are invisible people like Mr. India that would disappear. There are people. They're talking, but I'm just saying the process is going on, and once things come to a logical conclusion, we will divulge that information.
Right. You are going to divulge information later on. Ahmed Jawad Saab, your party and your government talks a lot about its performance. Of course, opposition doesn't want to see it. To them, glass is not only half empty, there's no glass. And you're going to say it is brimming with water or hope. The question at this moment is the man who has actually brought about a lot of change, finance minister, is there because the previous finance minister could not win a parliamentary seat. And this finance minister, after this much time, hasn't been inducted into the parliament. Are you not repeating the same mistake?
I think it does not have much effect in the policy of PTI government, which is led by the Prime Minister. And
but you have to have a finance minister.
He is holding the portfolio of finance minister, and he is doing his job. And it may not, he may not be able to stand in the parliament like a parliamentarian, but he is doing his job. And that job can be done without the presence in parliament.
Yeah, for 6 months he can function as the finance minister, but then he cannot. And if you downgrade him to the finance advisor, then he cannot chair the bodies that are there, the cabinet bodies. Is it not important to actually avoid that, because you need one man helming the affairs for 2 years, next 2 years?
Farrukh, yes, there are technical challenges when you appoint somebody who is not from the parliament, but then the experts are also taken. It is in our history, we take experts, especially in the field of finance.
Not as ministers.
Not as minister, yes, he can be given the portfolio of advisor. But the main thing is that he is doing his job as a finance minister, which is the finance policy of the party, PTI government. So that will not be affected. But yes, his status could be affected.
Yeah, but you understand that according to the order of Supreme Court, High Court, any advisor cannot actually chair any cabinet committee, and that becomes a problem. If you are going to actually downgrade him later, there will be serious problem with the consistency. You already have 4 finance ministers. How many are you going to have?
It doesn't matter. We can have
10, 20?
We can have
30, 40?
No. I'm not talking about the figures, because that would be funny to talk about that. What I'm talking about is that you have a finance minister, you had a finance minister, and you will have a finance minister to run your finance policy. Now, the technicalities of whether he's from parliament or he's given a role from outside, I mean, these things can be handled. This should not affect the finance policy of the government. So I'm not really of this point of view that it is a serious challenge to the PTI government, as if you have asked.
Right.
I don't think so. It's even a challenge. It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
The concern was that everybody we talked to actually seemed to be appreciating that he understands what he's doing, and he is very effective as a finance minister. Business community is happy. The experts are happy. So why would you let or risk losing such a talent?
Yeah, we are not losing him, so don't worry about that.
Okay. One more aspect. We have asked about the opposition, and we keep on asking them how they are planning to unite or work together. There are people who are moderates or not pro-confrontation in each party, right? Zardari Saab is one, Shehbaz Sharif is the other. Your government was supposed to reach out to the opposition leader to appoint certain people to certain very important, positions. That hasn't happened. Is it going to happen? Is there a chance that you can win over them before the Hawks take over, or their parties actually once again unite?
Farrukh, I don't think so that we will be able to win over for two reasons.
Yeah.
One, that from the day one, opposition has not recognized the legitimacy of PTI government. Okay. They have put a question mark on the day one that it's not elected, it's selected Prime Minister.
So did you?
So that's the...
So did you in the past 5 years?
What?
And you kept on saying that the previous government was also in place because of rigging.
No, I didn't get your question. I mean,
no,
I was trying to answer your question.
No, but you
want to
just,
ask something else?
You just pointed out that there is a reason why you cannot reach out to the opposition because they don't accept your legitimacy. And I was pointing out...
That's not all. You didn't let me answer.
No, but...
You picked just in between. That is why you need to answer, ask another question. So let me complete. It's a good question. But let me answer it.
Okay.
I just started.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But
so
you understand that I have to prompt you as well?
I listened to your question, very much understood, and I was about to give you the answer. I only give you one factor, that first of all, it is the very basic of understanding between an opposition and government is that the opposition recognize. I give you the example of Imran Khan. After the 2013 elections, he came to the parliament and he congratulated the government and he said that we are ready to accept this government, but we only want the post-mortem of 4 constituencies. We want to have counting of the ballots there. We want to investigate what all happened there. Right. That was the only question. So, you know,
you're answering my first question or second?
And then, on the other hand, opposition has never recognized PTI government. It has allowed this narrative throughout from the day one. Now, coming to the second question, coming to the second factor, that is related to the accountability. The cooperation of opposition will start the day PTI government agreed to NRO. So whether this NRO, you can use any term. This term is used quite oftenly, but you can use any term. Basically, the big question, the big challenge between the opposition and the government, the challenge is about the accountability. They need a compromise on that, and that is not possible. That is not going to happen with Imran Khan as the leader of the government. He will not agree on this thing. So these are the two important things. That is why I just said that it is not going to happen. 3 years have passed and we have faced all kinds of opposition, and they have used every trick in their arm in the last 3 years. They have not been able to
Rana
achieve
Hassan
that.
Afzal Saab, are you still asking for an NRO, sir?
Sir, I was researching political victimization yesterday, and I was reading the 87-page judgment on the bail of Saad Rafiq and Salman Rafiq by Justice Bakar, and I went through each and every page. I read the whole document, and in it, several times, maybe 10 times, the judge writes that I cannot understand why NAB took a notice, how it was their jurisdiction, and who were the complainants. He could just not understand. And in it, he writes in detail that how political engineering is done through NAB and how this institute has become a tool, and it is being disgraced and its image is being tarnished. And, you know, it has happened with all of our leaders. Let me, you know, this is a very important point. Because, you see, S. N. Iqbal Saab's case, he went to jail. You know, he lost his freedom, and it's not a small thing to be arrested when you haven't been convicted and you haven't yet, a reference not been filed, and you're at a status of an inquiry and you're put behind bars. And their minister, Asad Omar, says that it's a fake, I agree, it's a wrong case. So, not one, more than a dozen of our leaders have been put behind bars, their freedoms have been taken, and cases have, they're yet references are to be filed. So we don't want an NRO. We have gone through this victimization. We have faced it head on. We have gone through the heroin charges, the drug charges, and we have faced it head on. So believe me, they can do whatever they want. Nothing has come out. What has come out are those excellent judgments.
I understand that you are actually quoting your narrative, repeating what you have been saying, even though there are many very interesting aspects from the other side also. For example, while you can talk about what NAB has been doing, NAB doesn't fall under the direct purview of the government, right? This is one aspect. The second aspect, and you have to remember this, I hope you appreciate, this is their narrative, that while these cases might be interesting, there might be some problem with the prosecution, but the fact is a person who was not only under trial, who was a convict, that is Mian Nawaz Sharif, is sitting abroad.
So I have a very plain answer for that. For a judge to have videos released in which he is admitting that he was under pressure, for a video of a judge to be released which was pretty, it could not be shown to the common man because it was such a video, and then being blackmailed, such a judgment would not stand the test of time or any,
again,
if it was any
Runners up, sorry to cut you, but because we are talking about the courts, and there are reasons why I have to actually question this. You're talking about certain videos which mysteriously, appeared in your party was the one that actually presented it. The one, we don't know about the forensic analysis of that video. Secondly, it was, from the video, one discerns that it was done or being stated in a private environment. How do you qualify somebody breached somebody's privacy and then handed you those videos?
No one handed us those videos. Those
you
videos,
were presenting
this is the PTI. No, we presented it. It was leaked, and it came to us, and it was a shocker for us when we found out that the judge was under pressure. He was admitting it on video. Now the question of how they came and what happened, that needs to be investigated. But the fact that the judge is admitting on a video about being under pressure, and that is why he convicted a person, makes the judgment null and void. And it would have been done if it was any other country.
That is
Sadly,
I'm sure that you have studied law as well, but I mean, with due respect, that is not how the judicial process works. But with due respect, coming back to the original question, are you asking that the government drop all these charges?
Not at all. A narrative of accountability has been destroyed in these 3 years by different judgments of the justices given during bail. So we're not worried at all. Nothing. They said we were the murderers of Model Town. They have the prosecution in their hands. They have the law ministry. They have the police, the investigative team. They could do nothing at all. So we are passing the test of time. We are passing this fascist government, and nothing has been proven. So we're pretty confident that the people of Pakistan have rejected their accountability.
Okay, Rana Sahab, with due respect, let us not name call anybody. I'm told that we have to actually move towards closing very quickly. Rashid Sahab, if you want to add one more sentence, please do. Then we go to conclusion. Very quickly.
Yeah, basically I'm saying, I think the doctrine of law of the country says, just generally the doctrine of law says innocent until proven guilty, but unfortunately in Pakistan there are media trials and a person is assumed guilty unless proven innocent. So I think, there are NAB cases going on if nothing has been proven. So I think we should not hold people responsible for that.
Right, and that is a very good point, sir. With due respect, Section 14 actually says that you are, of NAB law actually says that you are guilty until proven innocent. That is why your party was in government, Rana Saab's party was in government, you never changed it. It is a big question, but I am told that we have to absolutely...
Just one comment.
Sir,
no leader of opposition has been acquitted from any charges.
Okay.
Getting a bail does not mean that you have proven innocent.
Right.
The cases are
They haven't been
still in the
convicted
courts.
as yet. They haven't
Right.
been convicted as yet.
Gentlemen, with due respect, I am told that we have to conclude the program here. Rana Ehsan Afzal Sahab, thank you very much for your time. Ali Rashid Sahab, thank you very much for your precious time as well. Ahmed Jawad Sahab, thank you for personally coming to the studio. Viewers, this was today's program. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.